Well, boy, this morning that rain was coming down. I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening out here?
I know, it was not a good look. It was pretty gloomy. We had the low cloud cover. We had the rain that didn't seem to want to go away.
I know.
It just kept spinning right over the Metroplex this morning. It's finally moving out of here.
Okay.
So we are dry, or at least most of us, and we're also seeing some sunshine. But so far for the month of July, by the way, it should be our driest month of the year, but that's not looking like it's going to be the case this year. This month, we've seen a little over 1.5 inches at least at DFW. So we are above normal by 0.32. So far this summer, we've seen 3 and almost 3/4 of an inch of rain. That's actually going to be below normal for the summer, at least so far. Okay, but this year we've seen 22.16 inches of rain, and that is also putting us at 0.67 above normal for the year. So if you thought that it's been a little bit more rainy than usual, you're not wrong. But we also have several more days to go in July, so we'll see where we actually end up. Satellite and radar showing that North Texas is still seeing at least some isolated showers. A lot of us are dry right now, but you can also still see that little spin from that little MCV that we had earlier this morning. That continues to move north into Oklahoma, but we still have some rain bands associated with it. So zooming in a little bit closer in between Canton and Athens, we still have some isolated showers. Earlier we had a couple lightning strikes, but that has now gone away, and off to the north we're starting to clear out pretty quickly. Looking at our timecast, it's still showing there is potential that we could still see some showers developing again later this evening, but primarily south of the Metroplex. Overnight tonight, it looks dry for most. We're going to keep the clouds around. Can't rule out an isolated shower, but notice at 7 o'clock in the morning, now the coverage is starting to pick up a little bit more, especially between Decatur, Gainesville, Denton, maybe even McKinney. I'm still at least going to keep a 10 to maybe 20% coverage of rain in the Metroplex. So not everyone's going to see the rain tomorrow morning. Tomorrow at noon, we've got a couple of showers closer to the Red River, looking at partly cloudy skies, but later in the day, we just can't rule out an isolated shower. But after that, we're cutting things off. So this is our DBU camera, and it's beautiful out there right now, but we're starting to warm up now that the rain has moved out. We're at 91 degrees in Fort Worth, 82 in Gainesville, 88 degrees in Canton, 92 right now in Corsicana. Overnight tonight, keeping some clouds around, a low coverage of some showers. Temperatures drop down into the low to mid 70s overnight tonight, and then tomorrow afternoon, we're going to see at least partly cloudy skies, a low chance of rain, so temperatures should be a little bit warmer this time. 93 in Dallas, 94 in McKinney, 93 in Canton, and 93 tomorrow in Waxahachie. But things are changing down the road. As early as we get to about Wednesday or so, the area of high pressure that we've been seeing in the southeast part of the country, that's going to be moving back to the west. So eventually moving to right on top of Texas. That's going to keep the main jet stream that kind of carries storm systems across the country well to the north. So we don't have any big time storm systems on the way anymore. The high pressure is basically going to cut off those rain chances. But for us, that means we're going to be heating up. We're also expecting quite a bit of humidity, so drier days are ahead. For tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Isolated showers are still a possibility, but we're going with about a 20% coverage rain. The wind's going to stay light. It's going to be out of the south. Temperatures drop down into the mid 70s tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, we're looking at partly cloudy skies. We're going to have a 20% coverage of maybe a few showers, but because that chance is still low and it looks a little bit lower than what we ended up with today, temperatures will have more of an opportunity to climb into the 90s. So this time we're looking at a high of about 93 degrees. The wind, it may pick up a little bit more later in the afternoon. It's going to be a little breezy though later in the week. Now temperatures make it into the mid and upper 90s because we're getting rid of the rain chances. We're going to have a lot more sunshine. That ridge of high pressure builds in. By next weekend, temperatures are going to get really close to 100 degrees. The second half of that 14-day though, showing that yes, there is 100 degrees in the forecast. There's a couple of days in there where I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do get to 100 degrees. We're going to keep it in the upper 90s for the most part, but the wind's going to be staying out of the south. I don't really see any rain chances across North Texas. It just looks like it's going to be heating up. So that, looking at the rain chances, the silver lining is that we're actually going to get rid of those. But the bad news is, if it's bad to you, it is going to get pretty hot with hundreds returning to the forecast. Back to you.